Welcome everyone, and thanks for joining me as we talk about how you can transform your business to a modern cloud support experience and why you should. My name's Steve Smith. I'm the Senior Director of Solutions Engineering at ScreenMeet. I have over 15 years experience in the remote support, online collaboration and customer engagement space, and it's great to see where we are today with the adoption of cloud and the advances in cloud technologies. In this session, we're going to talk about how digital transformation changes the support experience, and I'll give you a short demo on how ScreenMeet fits in. Now, when we reached out to some of our customers and asked what the biggest benefit to them modernizing their engagement platform, the respondents led with an improved experience for the agent and the customer. And this was spanning all use cases from B2B, B2C, and also IT help desk support. Now, the main reason for this response was because a lot of companies are facing the same core challenges basically across all industries where employee turnover is high. This leads to a huge impact on the ability to service your customers and also puts a massive pressure on costs. Also, having to adjust to a hybrid workforce and adjusting to demands of customers who are driving how to engage with you rather than the other way around. So as we said, it all starts with experience. And so we're going to take a look at the old way and the new way of engaging, how customers engage with your help desk and contact centers. So primarily it used to be that engaging with a contact center was either via a phone call or an email. And depending on which of these methods was used, the agent would ask lots of questions verbally, try this, try that, or it could be an asynchronous email exchange, which may include sending screenshots. Maybe it was even a site visit. Now, the agent, more often than not, would use multiple tools in this process. They'd be working in a CRM, an email client, maybe a third-party remote support or screen sharing tool. But they would all be separate systems with data all over the place. So the impact of this approach is a lengthy call handling time, multiple contacts with the customer, and a poor experience for all parties concerned. Today, the tools are out there that modernize the support experience. Customers can choose and should be able to choose ways to engage with the contact center. Now, whether that's chat bots, scheduling, social media, and yes, phone and email still exists, they should have that option. Now, these omni-channel methods all feed into the same CRM or platform, and a tool like ScreenMeet can enhance that experience by providing screen sharing solutions that are seamlessly integrated into that platform. So the result of that is that customers can use the method that they want to contact support, and agents are working from one platform throughout the whole end-to-end process, and all the data is all in one place. Now, obviously, this is going to lead to reduced call handling time, increased first contact resolution times, and a highly improved support experience for both the customer and the agent. So who is ScreenMeet? Well, ScreenMeet, we have a suite of cloud-native real-time engagement services that integrate seamlessly with platforms like Salesforce, ServiceNow, Microsoft Dynamics, Zendesk, and other contact center and endpoint management providers. And we're hosted globally on AWS data centers. We have 4 solutions: a browser-based screen sharing that includes voice and video chat and mobile camera sharing, a remote desktop takeover tool, so that allows agents to take keyboard and mouse control of an end user's device as if they were sat in front of it, so a real IT use case, a co-browsing tool for support of customers on a website, mostly finance and retail, insurance, where the customer needs help with a product or filling out forms or applying on websites, and a mobile SDK that incorporates features from all 3 of those solutions that can be built into your mobile app for you to support your customers on that app. And then finally, we have a tool called Replay that allows for end users to pre-record an issue they are having. It automatically gets uploaded and submitted to a ticket or an incident. So now I'm going to show you a demo of how ScreenMeet becomes part of the platform and the workflow and add screen sharing functionality to allow the agent to better support the customer. So just bear with me while I switch screens here. Okay, so now what you're looking at is an example of how ScreenMeet integrates into a platform. And for this demo, we're going to use Salesforce. Salesforce actually is a customer of ScreenMeet, and they use ScreenMeet Live, which is the browser-based screen sharing tool, to support their customers. So what you see here is a typical case in Salesforce and our ScreenMeet component to allow the agent to start ScreenMeet sessions directly from within the platform. Now, ScreenMeet is a managed app that's installed from the store, and it doesn't matter which platform you use. If it's supported by ScreenMeet, it's the same process. You install the application from the store, you add roles or permission sets to use as you want to use it, and all that authentication is done via the platform and access is done via the platform. So it's really easy for administrators as people join or churn the organization or join different teams. It's all managed within that platform. Now, we talked about omnichannel and methods of customers contacting the support center. The example we're going to do here is I'm going to submit a chat from another machine into my Salesforce org, and we're going to work directly with the customer. So here's my incoming chat. It's coming from Joe. I'm going to accept that as the agent, and it's automatically going to create a case for me. So here I'm the agent. I'm working in this case. I've got all my chat transcript. I've got case details, contact details, and any other information I want the agent to be able to see. And then here we have our ScreenMeet component. So this is going to allow us, what we're going to do here is actually switch from the chat to a ScreenMeet session so that we can resolve the issue. And Joe has some questions about permission sets. So we're going to start a ScreenMeet live session. And by the way, any ScreenMeet session can be started from here. I'm going to record this session. I could enable audio, so we could switch from chat to voice, but I'm not going to do that because obviously I'm using voice in this recording platform that we're doing for this session. So I'm going to start the session. It's going to give us some information. And basically, depending on the channel that we're engaged with the customer on, depends on the info we're going to use. Now, this is chat. So I'm just going to send a link. And I just need to click on a send invite button, which is automatically going to populate the chat and send it over to the customer. Now, if I had a verbal dialogue with the customer, I could just as easy send them to the URL, and they would enter that PIN number and join the session in the same way. It would redirect them to a URL and they would join. Now the customers join the session, and by the way, they didn't have to download anything. It's purely in the browser, no plugins required, just click on a link. So now as the agent, I'm going to join Joe in that session. And I'm actually going to leave my webcam on here because I'm going to elevate that support experience and show Joe that I am a real person. And so now we're in a session. We won't use the audio. So here am I, Steve, on the right-hand side as you look at it, and the agent Joe on the left. Now we already know we need to do a screen sharing session. So I'm going to ask Joe to share his screen with me. So Joe is going to share the screen with me. And from starting in this original iframe here, so we still have all the details of the case, we can actually pop this session out when we go into full screen share because we obviously want a much larger view. And so now we have a good view of Joe's screen, and I can help him, I can talk to him and navigate him through whatever questions he may ask. And so in this example, Joe wants some information about permission sets. So I can help him, I can talk him through that. I can also annotate on here as well. So if I wanted to circle some permission sets on here to talk about, I can annotate, we can have a conversation about that, and I can address any of his questions. So really quick and simple way for the customer to get their question across clearly by sharing their screen, and also for the agent, it's really simple to work from their existing workflow to get into that screen sharing session. So now I'm going to hang up this session, and I'm going to show you the information that's captured back into Salesforce. So we've had that session, we've resolved Joe's issue, and we've captured some session data. So our ScreenMeet session that we've had is now logged, and we can click on that session for more details. And over on the right-hand side, we have an overview of the session. So when it started, the duration, when the agent entered, when customer Joe entered. So we have that information, and that's useful for our reporting. So any reports that you have already in your platform, you can leverage this information to help provide better analytics. We also have a log of what happened in the session. So the first few entries really about when people joined the session, but also you can see functionality that was used. So we know that Agent Steve used their webcam, so shared their webcam with the customer on the call. We also know that the customer shared their desktop back to Agent Steve, and we know that annotation was used. So you have a log, an audit trail of what was done in that session. Additionally, because we recorded that session, we actually capture a copy of that recording in the platform or access to it. So here you'll see the file that's associated with that. I can click on view. Again, I don't need to leave the platform to view this file. I'll move that on a little bit. But you can see here that we now have that recording, and we can control, our customers can control who accesses that recording. Not only that, they can determine where that recording is stored. So any files associated with the session can be stored directly in the platform or in the customer's own AWS S3 bucket or Azure Blob storage, for example, and there will be links to that file. So if you think of that from a security perspective and complying with data requirements of certain markets where data can't leave certain geos, this fits the bill exactly that, because the customer can specify where that file exists and things like data retention for that file. Now, we talked about the ScreenMeet session data that was captured, and here's just an example of how you could use that session data. So this is just a dashboard we created from reports that shows things like average handling time, first contact resolution, customer satisfaction. So again, you can see how ScreenMeet is positively impacting the support sessions and the customer experience. Okay, let's switch back to the demo. So excuse me while I switch the screen sharing over. Okay. So hopefully that quick demo showed you just one example of how easy it should be to modernize the support experience. It's also worth knowing, with today's marketplace and apps being available in stores, gone are the days of year-long and complex IT projects. Today's solutions are designed to be deployed and adopted rapidly, and the good ones are built truly in the cloud and not just using the cloud to communicate between desktop applications. Now, one of our customers, OTPP, which is Ontario Teachers Pension Plan, wanted a remote support solution that was integrated into their ServiceNow platform. As a result of COVID, almost all of their teams were working from home, workloads increased, and that wasn't simply during the transition, but it is still apparent now. So it's the new normal. And you can see from the results on the screen here that there's significant benefits. So increase in first call resolution, decrease reopen rates and average handling times, all because they're using a tool that fits into the workflow and addresses their requirements for their customers, which are their employees. Also, with a hybrid workforce, new hires, other remote, bring challenges of how you support those, how you onboard those new hires. So new hire setup times have decreased as well. And because this tool is used within their ServiceNow platform, their utilization of that platform has gone up. So they're getting a better return on investment from there as well, and more coherent data and analytics. So here's a quote from Wakas, who is a senior manager of ITSM at OTPP. We now have the ability to connect with anybody as if we were there face to face to help support them. Now that sounds like a simple thing, as remote support, screen sharing tools have been around for a very long time. But those legacy tools don't become part of the workflow, and they run outside of the platform, which leads to a lack of adoption and a poor experience. One example of that is another customer of ours replaced the remote support tool they've been using for many years with ScreenMeet. Now, ScreenMeet gets used 3 times more than that previous tool. And that's not because there are 3 times as many calls, it's because it integrates into the platform and it fits the workflow and it makes it easier to use. So this leads to the kind of results we just saw on the previous slide. So thanks for attending and watching this session. If you'd like to learn more about ScreenMeet, you can visit us at booth 523 or visit screenmeet.com/resources, where we have a number of downloads and blogs that will be useful for you. And again, thanks for joining the session. If you have questions about this session or anything else about modernizing the customer support experience, please feel free to email me with questions on the email address that's on screen, smith@screenmeet.com. Thank you.